Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Cheers. Here's to the first of the day, fellas. Mink, 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 mink. Easy Rider, Nicholson. Anybody? No? Okay. Um, I hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. Uh um died on Kay's show. I have that on right now. Hold on. No. What? Heels in the air? Um Yeah, so I gotta be honest. While it lasts, I'm going to enjoy Kay being back. Um, I've missed talking about Kay. I've missed her antics to a certain degree. Like this stuff, ridiculous, harmless, doesn't bother me at all. In fact, I just find it really funny. Um, I I now, admittedly, um, I have not been following the case, even though that I know a lot of people from the Johnny Depp community. Um, and Cherry actually came from the Johnny Depp community, and Cherry is very well versed in this case and has been since I've known her. And those of you that know that Cherry has been part of this channel for a long time, has been my right hand moderator. She Oh, what's up, Panda? Come on. Come on. Come on. It's okay. What are you looking at me like that for? Just get up here. um, come on. It's okay. Come on, you can do it. Sorry, Panda's getting old. Come on. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on. You can do it. Or not. Okay. Um there she goes. There she is. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. Um so yeah, so having said that about Cherry, knowing knowing as much as she does about this case, I get my little facts and tidbits here and there. And hanging out in Rob's Rules chats and in General Zod's fandom zone chats. Um, I uh I learned quite a bit about this case. And I've seen a lot of evidence. Uh and uh all of a sudden canceled Karen doesn't seem to have any she doesn't seem to have any interest in evidence when it comes to this case, which is I find really funny. um and so she she titles her live stream that she's live right now, and titles it "Debate Me If You Can," because she just, like, this is what it's about. She's only interested in the opposition. She knows that she can throw a bunch of word salad together and and absolutely not make any sense, but sound like she is to a certain degree. But and nobody seems to really be agreeing with her. Um, I find that really funny. But there's a guy on her panel right now that seems to uh, know what he's talking about, more or less. He says he's a film director. Um, So I'm gonna go ahead and just um okay, so Sherry is sharing a link where you can actually see some of this evidence. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and click on that. All right. Now, Before we get into K here, there's a case that I'm probably going to start talking about. Um, I threw up a poll in, God damn it, Cherry. I added a poll to the to the community, and I am and it's regarding. Now we're gonna get into the to the one before this one that I put up, but um, so there's a case which I'll get into, not tonight, not but I'll do a deep dive in this case. Um, and it's basically this corrections officer in Lauderdale County in Alabama, I believe it is. Her name's Vicky White, and coincidentally, an inmate named Casey White, she helped him escape. And and in this poll, I asked, "Is Vicky White still alive?" Because he is, from what I understand, I think he's a lifer for murder. Um, and I don't understand people like this, man. So so I asked, is Vicky White still alive? And the choices were yes, Casey White and Vicky White are fugitives in love. And the other answer is no, Vicky White used her and killed her because he thought of her as just extra baggage. And it's close because yes, saying that Vicky White is still alive and they're in love, 59% that they're on the move together, and the no being 41%. Um, and let me see some of the comments here. I'm going to address some of the comments. Pugs said he has little reason to keep her alive. He is a con man and, well, a con. One traveling alone is better, faster, and smarter than in a pair, as shown time and time again. One and hide in plain sight, two cannot. One can hide in plain sight, two cannot. Plus, it costs way more for two to run than for one. That's true. Laura Bell said, I can't vote on this. You need a I'm not sure option. I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously, we don't know. That's kind of goes without saying. That's why I didn't put it as an option because, of course, none of us know. It's just, what do you think? I hope she's still alive, but I really don't have a good feeling about it, being what his background is. Just hope that they are caught soon. I could never help someone like Casey escape jail, knowing his background and how bad of a guy he is. I don't think I could ever help anybody escape jail. I don't think he loves her, but I also don't think he killed her. Okay. Um, that was CB86. Teresa Howick says, I don't think he has any reason to lug her around. She's a liability and a means to an end that he realized now. He's not in love with her. He's killed already. So I wish he hasn't, but I think he had. Now they're, from what I understand, they're reopening an investigation because apparently his girlfriend, prior to him going to prison, has had shot herself with a shotgun. Um, and but now they're reopening the case because they're not so sure that it was self-inflicted. So I'd be interested to see how that turns out. Um, but yeah, I think logic would dictate that this guy, if he's so quick, he obviously used this woman. Um, so I think logic would basically dictate that uh, that she's just going to slow him down. Um, and you see the pictures of this guy, man. First of all, this guy is 6'9", people. 6'9". All right. Like I said, we're not going to get too into this tonight, but I plan on looking into this because this is crazy. This is something out of a Lifetime movie. It's pretty insane. All right.
But this time he was holding a broken bottle to me.
Is the volume okay, guys?
I honestly don't remember if I threw anything in his direction. I don't think I did. I just remember him having me by the nightgown. I remember him flailing me, throwing me around. I'm flailing. This is after there were some bottles broken on the floor.
I want to get into.
This is actually after
they're debating here.
Forgive me. I wish I.
When this guy actually comes on panel.
Flashes.
And you base it on the evidence below the surface.
That not that. Yeah, my
tear ducts are here. Okay, right. Well, actually, you have tear ducts all throughout your eyes, but primarily here. So the tears come out here. They follow the contours of your face, and generally speaking, you're only going to see a wet face. It's very difficult, especially on 480p.
What?
To see a physical tear. But I even have shown you there is a physical tear, and you still
one physical tear, guys.
Let's watch the tear move.
The one.
She wipes it away.
One tear, guys. That's after hours and hours of her faking crying. The focus of canceled Karen here is there was a tear. There was one tear.
Hard time. Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive.
Objection. Next question. I'm going to take you.
Okay, now let me do this real quick. So there's also this footage. I don't. Cherry, can you email me the clip that everyone's talking about from that one dude on Twitter? Email me that Twitter link, please. Actually, no. You know what? I don't think you need to do that. Hold on a second. I don't think you need to do that. One second. I think I can just open this. Okay. Okay. How about that? All right. All right. So I did post this in community as well. And then we're going to look at the results of that another poll. Because it was actually Annie that sent this to me. And I was like, no way, come on. Like, there's just no way. All right, so watch closely, guys.
Mental condition. It's still hearsay, Your Honor.
So let's watch that one more time.
Mental condition.
No, dude, no. Okay.
May we approach you?
All right, so I'm just curious what you guys think. Let me actually full screen that.
It's still hearsay, Your Honor. May we approach you?
One more time. There we go. Okay, so I didn't think anything of it.
May we approach you?
I didn't think anything of it, but so what people are saying is in that footage, Amber Heard is sitting on the stand in a courtroom with the entire world watching her right in front of a jury, and she was bold enough to take a big old whack a blow right there on the right there on the stand because she's that much of an addict. I don't buy it. I don't think that that's what happened. But dude, 59% of the people who voted, 351 votes, 59% of those people that voted think that she was absolutely doing blow on the stand. And 41% say no way anyone, even her, is that bold. Yeah, no. I'm just not buying it, folks. I'm not buying it. Nobody would do that. Like, yeah, come on, dude. Did you know how paranoid cokeheads are? You know what I mean? Like, there's nobody that's just gonna be like, dude, and all casually just, and she hides it perfectly with the tissue. I just no. No. That didn't happen. I'm debunking that right now. All of you people that think that that's what happened, you're crazy. There's no way. There's just no way.
To your wedding. Can you please tell the jury about your wedding?
And there's another one on the other side of her face. All right, we're going to move past this part because I want to go to the Gold Coast home event because I want y'all to hear her version.
I couldn't move. I couldn't go anywhere. I eventually he ran out of.
Like, don't get me wrong.
Sorry,
I think that she's a straight up liar for sure. I think that some of the things that took place that she's talking about may have happened, possibly. You know what I mean? Possibly. Do I think that Johnny was the abusive one? Was he the aggressor? No, I don't believe that at all. I believe that this person who is trying so hard to make an impression, you look at her, you watch her on the stand versus how Johnny was. All she kept doing was addressing the jury. She would look over at the jury and tell her story, and she was trying really hard to be convincing of her story, and she was really focused on the jury. So do I think that do I think that she's being honest on the stand? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think that there's a little bit of truth to every lie. Okay. So I'll give her that much. But no, do I think that Johnny was just a straight up abusive piece of shit that would just haul off and hit her for laughing at a tattoo? Nothing about his personality comes off like that. Nothing about it.
It was like a light bulb switch went off.
I want to make sure I start at the right spot.
Yeah, like
had he been drinking by this time?
He was drinking.
And whoever dresses her and does her hair, they sat her down and they were like, "What are we doing, Amber?" And then she said, "Give me the virgin librarian because I have a jury to lie to." That's totally what happened. That is totally what happened. It's because I'm not buying this shit at all.
Calls for speculation, leading.
Leading. What if any drinks had you observed, Mr.?
Yes.
I want to make sure.
aware.
I'm going to get to you guys. Hang on.
At this point,
She has a history of abuse and has actually been arrested for it. Johnny does not and has not. So
March 2015, probably 25 times. So he's screaming at her. He calls his agents. I hear him talking incoherently, screaming.
Okay, so she's establishing here that he had a phone call and he was upset during the phone call.
Okay.
Kevin Savo, I hope you're going to behave yourself.
Let me explain something real quick. I hope you're gonna behave yourself. Let me explain something real quick, dude. Actually, let me just do this. Type of 1 if you've never been upset on a phone call. Don't type anything if you have. Okay.
I see you drinking something. I'm going to give you a chance.
Oh,
Don't make
God.
me regret it. Welcome to the show. What's up?
Here we are. We're talking about somebody here who has first of all, the dude's got a Mountain Dew can, bro. Like, he's got a Mountain Dew can. Like, really? You're worried about what he's drinking? Little Miss Ice Cubes in my white wine. Okay. Okay. But she's worried about what he's drinking, and she's worried about him behaving himself, even though she titled this "Debate Me If You Can." She is looking for conflict with someone, yet she's like worried that this dude is going to be somehow combative.
It's Mountain Dew, hon.
It's Mountain
Hello?
Dew, bro.
Yeah, am I in here?
Yeah, how are you doing? What have you got to say?
I'm doing okay. I just wanted to ask you what it is you have going on here. When you say, come in here and debate me if you can, I'm assuming that means you're siding with Amber Heard, or you're at least under speculation that Johnny isn't as innocent as people think he is.
Well, I certainly don't think he's as innocent as people think he is. Am I choosing a side? No. I've been trying to bring some
No, because
balance
that's
back
the
to
safe way to
the
go.
conflict that people are having.
See, that's the safe way to go. Choosing a side, even though it's a question of who's lying and who's not. This is the whole point. Is she lying? The question is whether or not Amber Heard is lying about Johnny Depp. And if she is lying, did those lies cost him his career, at least at the time? Now, this is his chance to get it back, but that's the question here. So yes, there are sides. Whether you like it or not, whether you want to face that fact or not, there are sides here. Either you believe her or you believe Johnny. It's just that simple.
Over this, because I think it's been primarily heavily people siding with Johnny Depp and not really knowing even what they're siding with. So if anything, I'm trying to drag people kicking and screaming back.
Okay. Moron. This is how clueless canceled Karen here is. Okay. This is how clueless she is, because she does not acknowledge the fact that there has been an entire YouTube community that has been dedicated to following this. This is the Super Bowl, dude. This is the big game right here. This is the event that all of these people in this Johnny Depp Amber Heard community have been waiting for. Is this defamation suit? All of this time, his attorneys have been preparing this case. This is the big shebang. This is the event that everyone in that community has been waiting for, and they've been waiting for it for a couple of years now, almost. And for this long, what they've been doing is going over every single development that has taken place. I know Cherry's been doing it. I know Rob's Rules has been doing it. I know that Umbrella Guy has been doing it. I know Stevie J. Raw has been doing it. I know that Mr. General Zod's Fandom Zone has been doing it. So I for her to go, oh, well, you're just siding with Johnny just to side with Johnny. No, these people have dug up and presented evidence, the same evidence that his attorneys are going to show. And guys, I just want to tell you, after the cross examination of her, I have something that I think I have lined up. It's not 100% solid, but a special guest that I think you guys are going to enjoy. And we're going to go over that because this is going to be fun. Watching these people present evidence and shut down this entire performance of hers, this really bad performance, by the way, and to watch his attorney shut her down is going to be beautiful. It's going to be fun to watch. This is what they came here for. The big fight. So I have a special guest who has agreed to come on here, and I'm hoping that that we're able with their schedule to work that out and make sure that it happens. But you guys are definitely going to enjoy it.
Over to the center. Number one, come back to the center. Don't be so heavily on his side, and allow
Says the most biased
for
person on
the
YouTube.
allow for all of the moving parts of the situation. Look at everything. Look at the evidence. Look.
Right. Look at the evidence, Kay. Look at the evidence. That what's really funny about her is this is the person who is notorious for creating narratives on one side, and it's usually to bash victims. Like 90% of the time, 95% of the time, I'd say, is her somehow, in some way, shape, or form, bashing victims. This is her right here saying the middle ground because it's a safe place for her. She gets to say, "Hell, I never took Amber's side," because she hasn't been cross-examined yet. That evidence has not been presented. The evidence that she doesn't know anything about because she hasn't been following this case, she doesn't know anything about. So this evidence that's going to come to light, she's playing it safe, going, yeah, I am not taking anybody's side here. Yeah.
Look at primarily,
Like, we know you're the one asking people for a fucking debate. What are you talking about?
for me, is the Gold Coast incident is what is solidified in my mind that he's capable of great violence. So that's what I'm trying to establish.
Capable of
Am
great
I trying
violence.
to convince people one way or another? No, I'm just trying to defend my thought process through this.
There is no evidence of him executing great violence. There's none. She has yet to do it. She's on this stand this entire time. Like, yeah, Pendar, I already talked about that. I'm saying no, that shit didn't happen. There's no, I mean, come on, dude. Like, and what device was she using? If she was sniffing cocaine on the stand, hiding it behind a tissue, I mean, what does she have? Like a special little bullet, you know? Like, what is this, 1982?
I don't know.
Like, the was she does she have like a little golden scooper? Like a little vial with a scooper?
Either of these people. So I have
What was
nothing
it?
against him.
What was it that made you think he's like more capable of great violence than any man in that situation? Why did he say that?
More capable than any man?
Well, it's just the way that you said it. It's just the way that like you think he's capable of great violence. I'm curious what made you say that.
Well, okay, first of all, let me say this. I think nearly all human beings are capable of violence. All of us, every single one.
Oh,
of us.
what a
We
cop
can
out.
all be triggered to
What
great
a
violence.
cop out.
I think the evidence in the Gold Coast home, the evidence of what he did is,
of course, we're all capable of great violence.
That he was violent that night. I also think it indicates that he probably was not consciously aware of what he was doing, because I don't believe a Johnny Depp who's consciously aware would have done the things he did in that home. The insane.
He was inebriated.
Yeah, well, clearly, I think he was on cocaine. I believe her when she says he was on cocaine and drinking.
But she wasn't.
I've seen people
okay.
on stimulants with alcohol. I've witnessed it. I'm 50 years old. I grew up in Los Angeles. I spent my
nobody, dude. First of all, nobody who grew up in Los Angeles talks like this. It just doesn't happen. You didn't pick up that accent from just living in Michigan for a few years. So, oh, don't let her trigger you. That's just this. She's funny. She's just funny. Like, first of all, in my experience, because yes, I have known a lot of cokeheads. I was one at one point. I grew up in Miami. So when there's a couple, okay, it's very, very rare. Very, very rare. And I seriously doubt that's the case when it comes to Hollywood people. right? It's very rare that the one person uses and the other person is just like, oh, I wish you'd stop using. Like, no. I believe that their entire relationship was fueled by substance abuse. I absolutely believe that. I believe that that's the one thing that they had in common to get together and fall in love so quickly and so fast. Because he wasn't like he was just all of a sudden, everything was Bible study and playing Ring Around the Rosie in the living room and playing Scrabble. That wasn't the nature of their relationship. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that they got fucked up together on many occasions, and this is why they thought that they were so in love. I could be myself with you. Oh my God, I can be completely uninhibited. Like, get real, dude. Like, she was doing all the blow. I think that they each had their own jar of cocaine. They each did.
Teenagers in Los Angeles on the party scene. I've seen it myself. So
now, do I think there might be truth to the story of that he thought that she hid his cocaine? Maybe. Yeah. But do I think that she did it because do I think that she actually did hide it? Yeah. Yeah, I do. And I think that she did it just to piss him off, just to make him angry, just to hurt him, just to be I'm going to totally fuck with him. Like, that's just some passive aggressive abusive shit, you know? Like, I totally believe that she did all the blow and then took his blow and was like, oh, well, you're rich. You could get more. Fuck you. I don't think it happened anyway the way that she said it. But do I think that she hid his cocaine? Do I think that he was going frantic, probably looking for it? Possibly. Yeah, I don't doubt that. I mean, that's what an addict would do. Do I think that he performed a cavity search? No. I don't think that happened at all.
So right. I know I have some background in this. So I don't believe that he was consciously aware.
Y'all heard that, right? She has some background in this. It can't be a mental health professional background because she was an occupational therapist assistant. I think that her background was something along the lines of I know what I'm talking about. I think that's Karen's background in cocaine users.
Everything he was doing.
She wasn't counseling anyone.
He was, because I don't believe Johnny Depp. I believe he is incredibly talented. I think he's very smart, clearly. I don't think that man, Johnny Depp, who he is when he's sober, would ever do that. Dip his severed finger in paint and write obscenities about his wife. I
totally believe that he did that shit. Because I also think that Johnny Depp is a fucking prima donna, fucking weirdo, artsy fartsy fucking weirdo who like thought that this would be some great expression. He's coked up, he's drunk, and she just threw a bottle at him and almost cut off his finger. And he's like, okay, well, what I'm gonna do is it's gonna be really, really poetic if I just this disgusting house of hatred and violence. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my severed finger, dip it in paint, and then I'm going to write art all over the wall and be artistic. And yeah, I totally think he did that. This guy admires Bukowski, admires Hunter S. Thompson. This is some shit that I totally believe he would do. A guy who wears hats like Johnny Depp wears, I believe he would do that shit. Sure, of course. Of course. Does that make him an abusive person? No. It makes him a fucking crybaby. It makes him a feel sorry for myself fucking, artsy douche. That's what it makes him.
I don't believe he was consciously aware of what he was doing. So because of that, it's reasonable to conclude He assaulted her in the way she's saying.
Why is that reasonable to
He
conclude?
can't deny it because he wasn't consciously aware of what he.
So wait a minute. So she's saying that it's reasonable to conclude that because he wrote shit all over the walls with a bloody finger and paint, that he's violent, that he beats her. That's reasonable to conclude that from that. What? What? No, it's not. It's not reasonable to conclude that. Oh God, tell me about it, Cherry. I've got a half a joint and I couldn't even smoke it before. Like, I've got a half a joint and I have to save it for before I go to the gym tomorrow. Times are tough.
He was doing. He didn't deny it on the stand.
Yeah, I haven't followed the case in detail, so I can't meet you eye to eye.
Totally.
Is it safe to say that rather than picking a side when you say that you're in the middle, is it safer to say you look at something like this and instead of harshly leaning left or right, leaning either Johnny or Amber as if one of them is 100% correct and the other one is 100% false, you think it's more of a case of these are two drugged out, wild, famous people that had a drugged out, wild relationship and probably smacked each other around and made it this big public court case?
I think critical thinking demands you consider that's a possibility. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because
of course it's a
the
possibility.
interesting thing is actually, it's interesting how invested
we wouldn't
become
be
in something
discussing
like
it
this.
if it
I'm
wasn't
not
a
personally
possibility.
invested because that's how I look at it. I feel a couple of ways about it, but when I look at it, when I look at celebrities, I don't
see. Yeah, I'm with this guy on that. Like, do I think that Johnny may have actually put his hands on her? Possibly. I wouldn't put it past him, but nothing dictates that he did. Nothing does, except her. She dictates that he did. She says so. That's all. There's no actual evidence of this. The evidence that she says she has already been debunked. The makeup that she says that she used in order to cover it up hadn't even been made yet. And it's been proven that she used movie makeup or whatever to make bruises on her face and took pictures, like not real bruises. So, like, okay, so this is why the majority of the country right now, the majority of the country who people don't like men who beat women, dude. There's a reason why the majority of people believe Johnny Depp over her. There's a reason, because there's evidence to dictate that it makes more sense to believe him than her. There's tons of it.
see real people.
People aren't just doing it because they liked Edward Scissorhands, dude, and Pirates of the Caribbean. That's not what they're doing. You know, like, people aren't just siding with Johnny because they like his movies. It's fucking ridiculous.
I just don't. I know they're human beings, but as far as being all the way outside of their head because they're on top of the world and just they have life by the balls in a way where it's just hard to function like a normal person with a normal perspective. And then you throw drugs in the mix as well. I could see this domestic situation being as wild and in the gray area as a lot of domestic situations are. As a lot of domestic situations are two nutty people who are together, especially if drugs are involved,
That's a
that
good
assault
point.
each other. And no one really is terrorizing the other like more than the other is.
But would you agree?
Oh my God. Yeah, it's true. I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be nice about that one.
A man has greater capacity to hurt a woman than a woman, generally speaking. Generally speaking, okay, I get it. There are Brienne of Tarth women out there. I'm saying those are the exception, not the rule. So generally speaking, is a man stronger than a woman and more capable of doing more damage than a woman is to a man?
Yeah, he is. But, you know, Amber Heard's demeanor leads me to believe that she's like this tough chick.
She is. Yes.
That not that it makes it okay, but the way this is going down and from what I'm hearing, especially when she's talking about like, I hit you, Johnny, it's not a big deal. I was just hitting.
Yeah, like, you gotta, like, see, this is why nobody invests in any fucking thing you say, critical cankles. This is why. The reason why is because you want to sit there and play it safe in a gray area. You want to sit there and play it safe like, oh, yeah, she's a tough chick, but she's also a victim. Okay, I understand that, but that's not the category that this particular person falls under. She is not going to sit here. But when you hear the recordings of this woman, this is not the person that is sitting on that stand. It's just not. That's why nobody's buying shit that she's saying. That's why nobody's like believing anything that she says. Is because you don't get to sit there and go and cry to the jury with fake tears, and then act like she's this strong, powerful woman. Like no. Like they're strong and powerful who endures abuse and then one day gets sick of it. Sure, right? That's not her. They're strong and powerful, and then they're shitty and abusive. This woman was shitty and abusive. There is tons of evidence of this. She didn't sniff coke on the stand. Stop it.
They strike me, like I said, especially with drugs being involved, as being that when hands got thrown, it wasn't like any one party was this defenseless person that's a victim, and the other one is like this wailing, fist throwing, like domineering force. Like I said, I see both of them as have beaten the shit out of each other and taken it in stride. That's how it looks to me.
I wouldn't necessarily agree she took it in stride. I would say if
she instigated it.
What I'm about to play here. If
now,
her version of events of him assaulting her sexually.
Now, let me be clear about something. I'm not saying that if a woman instigates something and pushes a man that he has the right to hit her. That's not what I'm saying. Do I think that there was physical altercations where he was aggressive as well? It would make sense that may have happened, sure. But do I think that he instigated these things? Does he come off at all like the type to instigate anything? Like, he just doesn't. Like, he doesn't come off that way at all. There's nothing in the evidence that dictates this.
With a bottle are true. I don't know any
women.
That's
wild.
I don't know any women that would take that in stride. Any.
Right. Well, that's right. That's a different thing. I was talking about smacking each other around the bottle thing.
No. And I agree with you about the smacking each other around. Certainly, critical thinking demands you consider that both of these people perpetrated acts of aggression on one another. But if that's the case, then he loses his suit.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad.
Can't claim.
I'm glad you said that, Tori. Tori R says, I watched another video who said she may have had something on the tissue to help bring on the tears, like menthol, peppermint smell. That's more believable than drugs to me. That's more believable than drugs to me too. Honestly, I just think that she was wiping her nose. It was just the way it looked when she wiped her nose. That's what I think. Because the thing is, I mean, how far away from the jury is she? Because for something to be strong enough to draw tears that she's going to have in that, like the judge is right next to her. The judge would smell that. The jury would probably smell it. The attorneys would probably smell it. Hell, Johnny might even be able to smell it for all we know. If something is that strong of a smell, that the idea and the purpose of it is to draw tears from your eyes, then that menthol smell is going to be quite pungent. So that's why I don't think that that's what it was. Oh, come on. Sherry, pepper. If it was pepper, she would have been sneezing. Dude, you could totally smell Vicks in the next room. Totally. Oh, Rojo, you're right. I've seen her flip out.
that he wasn't a participant in a domestic violence, which is what I believe her op-ed basically said, that she was a party to a domestic violence situation. That basically the premise of her op-ed is nobody took her seriously because he was so famous. He was much more famous than her. He was wealthier than her. He had more power in Hollywood than her. And she did dovetail, it's no doubt about it, she dovetailed on the Me Too movement, which I have my issues with, but she did dovetail on that in saying, I went through this horrible experience with this huge movie star and nobody.
Dude, I was a massive 21 Jump Street fan. Like, you remember that? You remember that episode where um where there was that kid with AIDS who liked to ride motorcycles and shit, and Hanson, Johnny Depp, had to like hang out with him. For whatever reason, I guess people were picking on him in school or something like that. I guess he had to protect him. That was his detail. He had to protect him so the kid could attend school. And the purpose was to educate people that like you can't catch AIDS from being coughed on. That's how long ago that shit was. Yeah, that was an awesome show. My favorite one was when when him and Penhall went to like juvie, right? And then Hanson became the Hammer, and Penhall was claustrophobic, and he was having a real hard time. But Hanson became the Hammer. Anybody who has the Hammer runs the whole juvie unit. Dude, his hair was dope, bro. Like, I used to watch that being like, man, why can't I have hair like that? That's the coolest shit in the world.
Cared at the time, and I do believe she was marginalized when and I do believe he was the first to shoot across the bow and break the disclosure, because when their marriage broke up, they had a non-disclosure agreement. Neither one of them were supposed to talk about what occurred during the marriage.
Right.
One of them broke that agreement, and it's up for debate who, but I believe it was him. I've come to believe.
What are you
it
talking about? It was
evidence.
her.
So does that make any difference? I mean,
that's what they're there for.
Well, look, I'm not here to debate you. I just want to point one thing out. This is what's interesting about this case. There's a reason.
I don't think he knows much about it.
And
I don't believe that this dude, whoever he is, I mean, he seems like a nice guy and he seems smart, but I don't think that he's very well educated on this case. Like, I would have loved for any other person that has been following this case for the last year or more. I was dying for any one of them to go up there.
I'm not making the point that I think Amber Heard's wrong, although she probably is, but I'm not like saying this in defense of Johnny. I'm just saying that clearly there's something very different about this case and the way the public perceives it. It's clearly there's something interesting about the fact that we live in an era where we say believe all women regardless of facts, right? So we just side with the woman, and most people are down with that. Certainly most women are down with that, and obviously most feminists are down with that. But then you have this case where overwhelmed.
Cherry got hidden from there, probably mostly because she is, well known as a moderator for me, with among people that don't like me, mostly because of that. But Cherry just went in there and trolled her. Cherry went in her chat and was just basically like, hey, you realize you get more attention, you get all this attention on you, and then YouTube's gonna get wind of you and you're gonna get booted out of here again. Like, she's not supposed to be on YouTube. Like, Kay is not supposed to be on YouTube. She had her channel taken from her.
Overwhelmingly, people side with Johnny, and a lot of women who would ordinarily say believe all women, I don't want to hear what the man has to say, are also siding with Johnny. And I think it's just because of this woman's demeanor. One, because she's an actress. Two, because she displays clear.
No, dude, it's not just because of that. It's because of the evidence that people have been following and becoming privy to for the past year or a year and a half or 2 years.
Signs of some sort of borderline personality disorder. And I think most people
Like
perceive
what?
her.
Like what?
Well,
What does she display that's borderline? What
well,
is she?
again, I said, well, again, I said, I'm not here to debate you. I'm just pointing out that I think most people and even women feel that what they're seeing in the courtroom is like as bad as the Kyle Rittenhouse breakdown in the courtroom. They don't believe her in the courtroom. They don't believe her antics. They think it looks like bad acting.
Oh God.
Okay, well, I would respond to you by saying that's not the true events as I understand them to be. Is she made the allegations and she was believed, and they had the trial in the UK where he lost. He attempted to appeal.
Every time she mentions the trial in the UK, I don't think that she knows anything about that other than the fact that there was a trial in the UK, because that was Johnny wasn't suing her. Johnny was suing the Sun magazine. He was suing them for defamation as well. And he lost. True, he did lose. I remember when that happened. Everybody in that community was heartbroken. Everybody was mad. I remember it was a big thing. And right, exactly, Cherry. But she hasn't mentioned the Sun at all. She hasn't mentioned them once because she doesn't fucking know. Liable, thank you.
Appeal. He lost that appeal, and then his PR team went on a massive 2 years ahead of this trial, went on a massive disinformation campaign on social media.
The Sun thing was like a year ago, dude. It wasn't 2 years ago. It was like a year ago, right? Cherry, when was that? Why is she talking about 2 years? Year and a half ish, right? Year and a half ish. I'd say on the lesser side of a year and a half. And that's a good point. All these claims are true, then why the fuck hasn't she pressed charges against him? Right. Right.
In order to paint her in a specific light. Would you agree that if people had been subjected to for 2 years a massive disinformation campaign about a single person, that once that person took the stand, they're going
You see what she's doing there? She's saying she does that. She's slick like that. She'll say a disinformation campaign. Like, it's his PR team. Like, we're talking about a guy who, this is exactly why you have a PR team, by the way. When you're a celebrity, right, and your career is on the line, then yes, you have a PR team to handle this. You public relations. That's the whole thing. Like, why are you sitting here acting like that he hired this PR team for the reasons that like Kelly Long hired a PR team, which was basically just damage control? Like, that's not what that was. This was, holy shit, this woman is spreading lies about me. How do I deal with it? And he still got canceled.
to be clouded and against them no matter what, because they've had 2 years of disinformation campaigns
2 years,
telling
man.
them that she has a personality disorder, telling them she's a liar, telling them she's a whore, she slept with James Franco, she slept with Elon Musk, she's a druggie herself, all these claims.
She is.
Would you agree with me that if the mob, okay, the peasantry, who does not look below the surface, they just read the headlines, or they read an article, okay, would you agree with me that if the mob had been fed disinformation for
Cherry, I'm going to need you to actually read articles and not headlines. I need you to pass that information, pass that along to Rob, pass that along to that umbrella guy, pass that along to Stevie J. Raw, pass that along to your friend Dan, pass that along to General Zod,
Mad Squirrel. Pass it along to all of those people because they obviously don't read articles. They just read headlines. Okay, for the past 2 years that this information has been out there, except it's not been 2 years.
For 2 years, they're not going to give her a fair chance on the stand no matter what. They're going into it skewed.
All right, well, this is what I think, and let me get through this point because there's a few points I want to make. What
Right.
I think is A, it takes a whole hell of a lot for women to side with the man in a domestic abuse case. B, I suppose Johnny was ahead of the curve there by doing this 2-year PR run. Again, I didn't follow the whole thing, but if you think he beat her to the punch by telling his side of the story, even if his side was true and it wasn't disinformation, but even if he only told his side of the story and nobody got to hear her side of the story, I guess I can give you that. But what I'm assuming is for overwhelmingly women who would ordinarily always side with the woman, regardless of facts, to side with Johnny over Amber, I would assume it's because when Johnny had that 2-year PR run of saying she's crazy and she's bipolar and she's mentally ill, I think her actions in the courtroom matched that by the way she carried herself. And I think people saw what they perceived to be bad acting, even obviously an overwhelming majority of women. But is that the
Dude, like, and did you see that? Oh man, I wonder if I can find that. Let me just play this.
reason you think that most women that would ordinarily side with the women in court are siding with Johnny? Because that's what I'm trying to get your opinion on why you think most women.
Well, I don't necessarily agree with you that most women. I think what you're seeing
You're
is
wrong.
as usual, the mob is the loudest. I think you might have a lot of women who do not side with him, but they're afraid to say so. They're not
Nah,
like
women are
me.
loud.
They're not.
Women are loud when they
The
disagree.
mob is loud. The mob is loud. And I want to remind you, during the O.J. Simpson
Wow.
trial, even when photographic evidence was put before the jury of that he bruises and phone calls were played of Nicole saying he's going to kill me, 90% of the Black community, including women, did not believe O.J. Simpson battered Nicole before he murdered her, in the years before he murdered her. Thus is the power
That
of
is
celebrity.
bullshit.
So I think
That is bullshit. That was not, no. Women believed he did. The men who just saw a Heisman Trophy winner didn't. I remember. I'm old. I remember this. Hold on, let me show you guys. This made me laugh. This actually made me laugh.
15 minutes.
So now I guess they're all facing the jury or whatever. Okay. Now the exit
So
is
we'll
past
come back at
is
4:02.
past the witness
Okay.
stand.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
where Amber is right now. So the exit is past the witness stand. Johnny's like done for the day, you know. Probably needs a drink. Don't blame him. But this is fantastic right here. She's acting like he's look, watch her. Let's do that one more time. Oh my God, here he comes. He's coming after me. Oh my God, he's coming after me. Oh my God, he's a monster. And he's like, I just want to leave. Bailiffs are like, don't go. Oh my God, Amber.
if this weren't Johnny Depp and this were any other man, I do not believe you would have so many women being so vocal in opposition to Amber Heard and trying to make her look to be play acting or faking. And the reason I reject this idea that she's play acting or faking is because her testimony matches my understanding of the evidence at the scene. So
Yeah, but
she's either really crafty in telling the truth of the
So my sound isn't any good right now. You guys can't hear me through my mic right now because I know it's plugged in and oh yeah, like it seems to be picking up a lot. Oh, let me try this. Is that better? Muffled? Uh, no, it sounds to me like it sounds fine to me. I just played it back through my phone and it sounded fine. Static and feedback, that's because I turned up the volume on the mic. Hold on. That should be better. Is that better, guys? Or will we automatically adjust mic volume? Is that better? It's not better. Okay. All right. I don't know what's going on with it. Um,
All right. Is it any better now? Um, hmm. I might just have to use the built-in mic. I've used it a couple times and it sounds fine. So is it's better now? Okay. I had to reset it, I guess. All right, we're good. Beautiful. All right. Thank you guys. Sorry about that.
violent destruction he caused at the scene and lying about the assault on her person, or you accept that she's giving an accurate portrayal of the violent destruction of the scene, and maybe she is telling the truth, and she just, for whatever reason, does not come across to other women well. Maybe there's another reason she's not, because I'm a woman and I'm trying to be fair in this, and although I find some parts of her mannerisms, I can see why people might think that she's being disingenuous, but it's more likely to me that she might be seeming disingenuous because her emotional output doesn't match how much she's trying to say she cares, if that makes sense. I don't think she cares. I think she hates this man. Who wouldn't? He's drug her through hell. He's ruined her entire career. She's got to hate his guts.
What? What? She ruined his career. You're saying that he ruined her career? Wait. No. 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 Um
Yeah, she's totally projecting, Heather. Oh my God, Kay. Oh, you never change, man. You never ever change. Right. Like what career? What career? She hasn't had a career. Any career that she's had has been due to being married to him.
But she has to get on that stand and act like she doesn't. So I think in certain times like that, she might seem to be not being truthful, or she might be acting, because I think she is. I think she's had to retell these stories so many times. And again, you either believe she's telling the truth and you base it on the evidence, or you believe she's lying. And then what are you basing that on?
Okay, the evidence. What evidence has she shown that he was abusive? The entire time that she was on that stand, she didn't show anything. As a matter of fact, what she showed was a picture of the breakfast table with a jar of cocaine and lines and bunch of weed. Okay, so, which by the way, there's different pictures where it's positioned differently. So why not just take the one picture? Why position the pictures differently? Remember, for those of you who've been following me for a long time, remember that that case with my friend Sean, and they did this whole Dateline on it. It was like a 2-hour Dateline, and he discovered these pictures on a computer. His mother, his adoptive mother, got away with murder. Her and her boyfriend got away with murdering her husband because what they did was she kept this guy drugged, right? And the plan was to have him eventually just overdose, and then he overdosed, and then the boyfriend, took a bunch of pictures positioning a gun in his hand and positioning his body in different places and blah blah blah, right? And then and they got away with this murder for like 6 years until Sean got a hold of the computer, and she put the pictures in the trash bin thinking that it deleted the pictures, but it didn't delete the pictures. And so he was going through the computer to make sure that there was nothing inappropriate because his kids were going to use the computer. This is my friend. This is a guy that I see almost every night, right? Like, he's a good friend of mine, and like he went through this, and then he found all of these pictures of them repositioning this dude's body, and basically this is the same thing that took place with that breakfast table. Is they just put everything there. And then this dude, yeah, my friend, he had to actually like testify against his adopted mother in court. And she's still in prison to this day. She's not getting out. It was called on Dateline, it was called Secrets in the Smokies, I think it was called, because it happened here in Tennessee. It was crazy. Like they did this whole thing where like during those 6 years after this dude's dead, they were what do you call it? Stolen valor, where they were claiming to be veterans. Neither one of them were. Neither one of them were. And they collected all kinds of money, all kinds of veteran disability insurance and stuff like that, veteran disability claims. It was messed up. Like somewhere in the millions is how much they would collect. They'd go on cruises, they'd buy nice stuff, and then and then during the investigation on that is when Sean found the stuff on the computer and then contacted the investigator that was handling that. Kelsey, thank you so much. Happy Saturday to you too. Yeah, stolen valor is some low, dirty shit.
And that was just the tip of the iceberg. They had gotten away with murder almost.
If you believe she's lying, what are you basing that on? Her
Well,
testimony
I'm
at the
basing
scene
it on
matches the evidence we know.
what evidence? What evidence? There is no evidence. Because if there was, Kay, because she can be thorough that way, she would be talking about that evidence. She would be showing that evidence. She would be showing the receipts, this evidence that she's talking about, the evidence that we know. What evidence? That's what I want to know, Kay. Where is that evidence? Because the evidence that's going to be shown is going to be shown during cross-examination, and you're going to look really stupid. You're going to look ridiculous. All there was his testimony. There was no evidence. She didn't show any evidence. Her attorneys did not show any evidence that what she was claiming happened.
Mm-hmm. Well, you do bring up an interesting point, though. The bias
No, she doesn't.
usually there in these court proceedings, especially if it's a celebrity. So there's a black bias in the O.J.
100%.
Simpson case. There's a
100%.
black bias in the O.J. Simpson case. And then there's usually a female bias with anything involving a noteworthy or celebrity female.
But that's not even necessarily true. And I don't mean to cut you off. That's not necessarily true, because even when I believe Robert Wagner murdered Natalie Wood, it's still, I can't say it because I don't need to be sued again.
You just said it.
Say I believe he murdered her. Hands down, he murdered
You
Natalie
just said
Wood.
it.
She didn't drunkenly fall over the boat and drown. She was murdered by him. And back then, when she was murdered, people were overwhelmingly believed that he had nothing to do with it. People overwhelmingly believed the narrative that was fed to them because he was a well-beloved celebrity.
Dude, Heart to Heart wasn't even that good of a show, bro. So come on.
Couldn't accept that, and poor Natalie Wood's legacy was that of a drunken.
It had a cool theme song, though. Yeah, Natalie Wood was a drunk. Okay. Is it so hard to believe that she fell off the side of a boat? Shit happens.
Bimbo who fell over the side of their yacht off Catalina Island and drowned because she was dumb and drunk. That was her legacy. I named my daughter after her. That's how much I love Natalie Wood. I firmly believe he murdered her. I think
so. Okay. So there's no celebrity bias there on your end, though, okay, right? No, because you loved her that much. You loved her so much that you named your daughter after this celebrity. But there's no celebrity bias there. The mob is the problem, not you, not people like you. The mob is the problem. The mob has the bias. Why? Because it's not what you believe in or what you agree with. Okay. Wow.
all of the evidence substantiates that he murdered her, that he pushed her over that night, that he fought with her, that he beat her, and he ended up pushing her over to die in the ocean. But the legacy was she was a dumb drunk, and the masses repeat that. So when celebrity is involved, it's not a foregone conclusion that women are going to take the side of the woman.
This is the thing. This conversation involves so much. So it involves it involves Amber's testimonies. It involves the part of which you're speaking on, in which you followed the case detail by detail. Then there's a level of, but the reason I think that there's been so many women that sided with Johnny, not just because like they're Johnny fangirls, but I think there's a level of, and you know, I'm sure you got to answer for this too, but I definitely think that there's a level of believability when you see somebody break down in a courtroom setting, or even not just in a courtroom setting, when you see somebody try to talk their way through tragic events and you can see them holding back tears. And I think, let me frame this properly. I think the people in the public at least believe they know, whether they do or not. I think the public believes that they have a healthy understanding of what a true breakdown of tears and crying and emotion.
All right, let me just read this quick thing. So Wood died under mysterious circumstances at the age of 43 during the making of Brainstorm while on a weekend boat trip to Santa Catalina Island on board her husband's 58-foot motor yacht called Splendor. Other than the fact that she drowned, many of the circumstances are unknown. For example, it has never been determined how she entered the water. Wood
Wood was with her husband, Robert Wagner, Brainstorm co-star Christopher Walken, and Splendor's Captain Dennis Davern on the evening of November 28th, 1981. Authorities recovered her body at 8 a.m. on November 29th, 1 mile away from the boat, with a small Valiant brand inflatable dinghy beached nearby. Wagner said that she was not with him when he went to bed. The autopsy report revealed that she had bruises on her body and arms, as well as an abrasion on her left cheek, but no indication as to how or when the injuries occurred. Davern had previously stated that Wood and Wagner argued that evening, which Wagner denied at the time. In his memoir, Pieces of My Heart, Wagner admitted that he had an argument with Wood before she disappeared. The autopsy found that Wood's blood alcohol content was 0.14%. So 0.008 is the legal limit from what I understand. So 0.14%, that's pretty high. And that there was traces of a motion sickness pill and a painkiller in her bloodstream, both of which increase the effects of alcohol. Los Angeles County Coroner Thomas Negauchi ruled the cause of her death to be accidental drowning and hypothermia. According to Negauchi, Wood had been drinking and she may have slipped while trying to reboard the dinghy. Her sister Lana expressed doubts, alleging that Wood could not swim and had been terrified of water all her life, and that she would have never have left the yacht on her own by the dinghy. Two witnesses who were on a nearby boat stated that they had heard a woman scream for help during the night. So that's definitely suspicious. I'll give Kay that. Those are definitely suspicious circumstances for sure. And what the fuck was Christopher Walken doing the whole time? Like, was he just drunk and passed out? Like, that dude went on. This was 1981. That, like, Christopher Walken went on to do so much. Wow.
Looks like versus when it looks like somebody's faking it, because certainly, like, if you take like that, most of the world thought that Kyle Rittenhouse bullshitted that crying moment in the courtroom. But who's really to say? Because I remember comment sections, and I'm not taking a side on Kyle Rittenhouse.
According to what I just read, Crime Time Grime, she couldn't swim. She didn't know how to swim. She was afraid of the water. But I mean, why the fuck was she on a yacht? You know? Like, why was she on a yacht? And like, I hate to say it, but if there was the dinghy and all that, I don't think Robert Wagner did that by himself. Like, did Christopher Walken like help him?
But just to say, most of the world seemed to agree, oh, he's bullshit and he's full of it. But I remember reading some comments that were saying, well, had you been that young and been defending your life and you could have been shot back as well, do you think maybe you would relive it in that courtroom moment and stutter and freak out? You know, it's fair to kind of go back and forth. But
yeah,
the point I'm making is that the public definitely thinks they know when they see true emotion.
No, I call bullshit. Because Kay's even admitting, okay, she is acting and she is putting on a show for the jury. But then she makes this excuse for her saying that well, she's sick of telling the same story over and over again. Like, well, who is she telling the story to over and over again? First of all, like, has she been in court? Has she talked to investigators? Is she pressing charges? Did she try to press charges? Who is she telling the story over and over again to? Because obviously, dude, when somebody is that traumatized by something, they're not just talking about this shit at parties. They're not sitting around with their girlfriend going over it and 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 talking about it. That's not how abuse victims behave. They don't like to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. The reason why is because they're going to get emotional because they're traumatized from it.
So, like, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I call total and utter bullshit on the theory that the reason why she put on an act for the jury is because she's now numb to enduring such horrible abuse. Dude, the kind of abuse that she's describing is the most traumatizing shit I can imagine could ever be. Like, seriously? A fucking cavity search? Getting fucking raped with a bottle, with a broken whiskey bottle? Like, dude, that's not, no. That's not something that you fake tears about. That is not what you do. Wow. And she sold the kitchen vid to TMZ. Yeah, that's a traumatized victim right there. Sure. Well, I mean, truth be told, somebody who's a fucking drunk, pilled cokehead, sure. That's right. And that was a thing too. Like, supposedly she got beat up, but she was on, like, what was that show? Wasn't she on Corbin, whatever his name is? I think I remember that. Yeah, like the next day after this beating, she's doing TV shows and looking fine. James Corden. Yeah. That dude gets on my nerves.
And they think they know when they see bullshit. And for most people, and certainly for most women, I think Amber's whole, it was awful. Everything just happened so fast. Like it seemed like a dramatic performance to them, more so a calm, collected attempt at speaking her side of the story while tears roll down her face. And I'm sorry, I just need a moment. I can't hold it together.
Yeah, that shit didn't happen.
Did you watch the testimony I'm about to play of her retelling the evenings, the events at the Gold Coast Mansion? Did you happen to watch that testimony in full?
No, you can play it. Is that where you're at right now?
That's what I'm about to play.
Go ahead, I'll watch it. I'll watch it.
Because listen, I'm a PC gamer. I've made no bones about it. I'm a PC.
Oh God, with the PC gaming, nobody gives a fuck. So you're saying, I surely hope, Lindsay's saying, I surely hope that the jury sees through Amber. What's funny is they don't even really have to. Like, yeah, it's helpful. Sure, it's helpful to Johnny, but all they have to do, what they're instructed to do as jurors, is look at the evidence. There's no evidence. She hasn't presented any evidence.
Gamer, so guilty as charged. I spend a lot of my nights having a couple glasses of wine, PC gaming.
By a couple of glasses of wine, she means a fucking couple of bottles.
Like Sly Cooper?
What's that?
You like Sly Cooper?
I play Elder Scrolls Online.
Okay.
And I'm like super surprised. Have you ever heard?
So this dude is an actual gamer, probably, or at least knows people who are. And then she's just like, I play Elder Scrolls. One fucking game. Gamers don't only play one fucking game, dude. She plays that, and I used to be in her Discord, right? And they would do the voice chatting, right? And she would be gaming, right? She would be gaming, and and there would be, basically, she would use her mods to cover her ass. She would make them game and cover her ass. Get on your crown. Get on your crown. That's what she would say on a constant basis all fucking night. Get on your crown, Liz. Liz,
Get your shit together. I can't fucking do this all by myself. Get on your crown. Like, even playing video games, she would fucking bully her mods, dude. Just sit there and be like, Jesus Christ.
Heard of it? The Elder
No,
Scrolls
I haven't.
Skyrim. You ever heard of Skyrim?
Yeah, I know a little bit about Skyrim.
Okay, well, Skyrim is part of the Elder Scrolls
Skyrim
franchise, and after they made Skyrim, they made Elder Scrolls Online, which is kind of like Rust, Escape from Tarkov. You know, it's a survival PvP. You're playing against other people all around the world, and this is what I like to do. So I sit and listen, and I have the testimony off, and I've done it both ways. I've watched her full testimony on my big monitor, and I've listened. Just listen.
The fuck does that have to do with
it.
gaming?
Because I'm trying,
like, she's
not
just
to,
flirting
you know,
with
I
this
tried
guy.
to, like, block out what maybe her body language.
She's flirting with this guy. What she's trying to do right here is she's trying to groom this dude to being her next me or Louis Ladouche, labia boy. That's what she's trying to do, is groom this dude to be that guy, because he's obviously pretty smart. And they can have a conversation. But he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about either. Bless you, Panda.
Was, and then I did watch with her body language as she recounts those events, and as she recounts the events and then goes into what she woke up to with the food being on the walls and the blood and the paint and her portraits being destroyed and the art room being destroyed and there being blood everywhere and him still being up
his
with
blood,
a severed finger,
by the way,
on a
his blood
second day up on coke with a severed finger, still hasn't sought medical attention himself.
Second day, dude, that's second day up on coke. Shit, that's right. I remember my first line. Amateur.
That's how out of it he was. He wasn't still. It was several hours later because she went to sleep, woke up, and he still. And she says we need to call 911. Her recounting of that story, especially in the moment where she described the sex assault, and you agreed, she has a tough girl. She grew up riding wild horses. She was her dad propped her up on wild horses. And
fucking wild
the goal
horses,
was to
man.
not fall off. I mean, that takes a lot of grit. Like,
Yeah. Listen,
I'm thrown off the horse. It's scary. Like, she's had to bury. She's a barrier. So that could be why it seems to be forced or put on. She might be someone that doesn't easily become emotional, but her team has told her, we need you to cry. We need you to show emotion. She might be someone that
that's true.
Emotion. You have to if
you're an actor. Act. Yeah. That's what her team is telling her.
Your emotion.
You have.
Her team is telling her you're an actor. Act. Of course they are. Of course they are. The only problem is they didn't take into account how bad of an actor she is. She sucks, and she showed it.
If you raise wild horses or if you're an actor, that's called method acting.
That's right. So it could be that it's hard for her, you know, to show emotion in it. That could be why it comes off as fake. I'm trying to look.
It's hard. It's hard for her to show emotion because she does have a personality disorder. Did you ever think of that? Maybe it's hard for her to show emotion because she has sociopathic tendencies. Did you ever think of that?
The substance of her testimony, and it matches the scene of the crime, if you will.
No, yeah, I get that. Well, hold on one second. I just want to try to reach this gray area with you because I don't think that this point is that unreasonable.
Okay.
I completely respect that you've really kept up with the case, and so you.
She hasn't. She hasn't, dude. Neither of you, obviously.
Kept up with the case, so I'm not debating you on case details. But
at least he admits it, which is fine. I got no issue with this dude. He's going based on what most other people are going by is now, okay, holy shit, everybody's watching this trial. I might as well watch it too. Everybody's watching it. So he's on that bandwagon. He admits that, and that's fine. And I'm not saying that to say anything mean about the guy. I'm just saying he's admitting, he's like, I haven't been following it very closely. I just, so I'm not going to debate you on case details.
but she doesn't have any case details. She doesn't know. She doesn't know.
I do find it strange that you haven't kind of taken that. You've taken this route that celebrities can create a mob mentality based on their celebrity status. But I think it's strange that you haven't seemed to notice that, for the most part, with feminism being as strong as it is, usually anytime there's a famous case where a female is saying that she was in any kind of trouble, women definitely, for the most part, blindly side with her. There was a slogan, believe all women, just believe. That's it. Not present facts, just believe. So it's super interesting, regardless of what you think about this case. It is super fascinating to see a large sum of women not side with Amber Heard.
It is.
Look, bro. Dude, does anybody here watch Yellowstone? Right now, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it takes to break a horse. You know what I mean? But the way that show makes it out to be is like it's really hard to do so. It's really, really difficult to break a horse. Like you got to be like cowboyed up to break a horse, dude. Like that's the whole, that's how they make that out to be. I mean, what's up, Makeup Mobster? Dude, yeah, Yellowstone. I didn't think I was gonna get into it. I really didn't. But that show is dope. Yeah, like you're not. Yeah. And where are these wild horses? Where are they? Where's, back in what? 2000? You know what I mean? Back in like 2000s, the early 2000s, there's just, herds of wild horses just roaming around and people are roping them like they did back in the 1800s. No, dude. People breed horses now. They get old enough and then they break them. That's what they do. But no, oh, yeah. Yeah. I've told that story here a few times, Makeup Mobster. But yeah. Yeah. J is for Justice to me is the same as K. That's why they hate each other so much, because they're so much alike. That's my theory. That's my experience.
It is. And it's a scary place for me as a woman to be, because I recognize most people are not agreeing with me.
Do you have a son?
It's unnerving. I have 4 children. I have a daughter and 3 sons.
Well, if you have 3 sons, it's a tricky situation, because you want to live in a world where women who have been harmed are rightfully heard. But you don't want to live in a world where women that are full of shit, the kind of women that could harm your sons or ruin your sons' lives if they have chosen a woman like that, you don't want them to be, you don't want them to be blindly believed either.
No, of course not. Yeah.
So
no, I was very defensive of Jake Bellington.
Oh God. Here we go. This should be fun. This is going to be rich. But no, I started to watch 1883. It was just so slow. I lost track of it. I mean, I like it. I like the cast. But as far as excitement goes, and as far as what's as it being interesting as Yellowstone, for a prequel, it's not nearly as interesting. It's not nearly as entertaining. I like it, but not nearly as much as I like Yellowstone. And I like Westerns too. Dude, I watched this movie. If you like Westerns, and you're kind of a Western, if you're kind of like an old West history buff to a certain degree, I kind of am. There's certain like outlaws that I was really fascinated with and I would just like cut class and go to the library in school and just sit there and read on these, on like Wyatt Earp and Billy the Kid, Doc Holliday. I used to just read up on these guys. Yeah, really fascinating stuff. And there's a movie, if you have Showtime on demand, watch Old Henry. That movie is like, I was watching that. I was like, this movie is so dope. Oh my God. Like I got so into it. It's really, really good. Okay. So here goes the Jake Bellington shit. This is the person that Sophie
had accused of SAing her.
Are you familiar with the Sophie Long, Michael Long?
God.
No, but
whole
I'm
fucking
proud
idiot.
of myself though that I've known all the cases you've cited so far. I think you're going to step into some areas that I've never heard of.
Well, there was a gentleman who was accused of sexually assaulting
A
his
gentleman.
girlfriend's daughter, and the father of the little girl made a video of
Let me explain to you guys about this gentleman that she's referring to. This gentleman has a felony record. There are 9, count them, 9 911 calls by Kelly Long saying that this person was assaulting her. 9 of them. Okay. And I played them all here. I played all of them. So, so this gentleman who took off with their kid, which Michael Long kind of did the same thing, but, no Roho, stop it. What was cool about that movie, Old Henry, though, real quick, was they showed certain things, like they showed little newspaper clippings for a second, and I was just like, and I had the movie figured out. I was like, oh my God, but I don't want to give it away. You know what I mean? Because if you don't know your history really well, I was lucky enough to know a lot of history about this particular person, and I was like, holy shit. But yeah, so yeah, this Jake Bellington dude is just a total piece of shit. Not a gentleman, not a nice person, just an absolute total piece of shit. And an abusive piece of shit. And there's proof. I showed proof of this. I showed absolute undeniable proof of this. And yet, Kay says he's a gentleman and defended him.
Claiming that he sexually assaulted her, and it ended up being completely bogus.
No, it did not end up being completely bogus.
Of social media that were engaged in that case believed him and believed the child. I had people come on my channel screaming at me, "You have to believe the child. You have to believe the child." And it ended up being she was
still
not
doing
being
this
truthful. Shit. She had been coached, and it was all
No, that's not true. Right now, she's just straight fucking lying.
a lie. And the man that she accused, his life has been destroyed.
Well, he destroyed his own life because he's a shitbag. His life has
been destroyed, and he's deeply hurt over what he's been through. He will never. Social media will never let it go. He will never be able to have a normal presence on social media.
That's because there has been proof splattered all over social media, not slander, but proof all over social media that this dude is a complete and total shitbag. Now, there hasn't been proof that he SA'd Sophie. I won't say that, but it wasn't debunked either. Basically, what happened was the police failed to actually conduct a thorough investigation, and as a matter of fact, they even interfered with evidence being collected in that investigation, and that evidence that once it was collected somehow got lost in translation. Somehow, like, poof, nobody knows where it is. Nobody knows what happened. And if you look at the transcripts of the court in this custody fight, you could clearly see that Michael Long was absolutely railroaded. Absolutely railroaded. Now, should he have taken Sophie and gotten out of the country? No, I don't agree with that. I never got behind that. But I at the same time, if you're being totally railroaded and it seems like everyone is conspiring against you in some way, shape, or form, the law is basically squeezing money out of you. The courts are squeezing money out of you, basically extorting money out of you that you don't have anymore. Well, then, it comes off like nobody's going to help my kid. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to protect her. So I do believe that this was Michael Long's intention, although I cannot get behind him being a fugitive from the law and taking his daughter in that manner, because what that does is it puts his daughter in danger. It just does.
Like I said it before, and I'm still saying it. Like if you go and you have your daughter in this situation, and the law is looking for you, you know something could happen in the process of them apprehending you, and something could happen to her. So I just never, I just never could back him up on that. And then he was just acting like a douchebag, and then I was just like, Jesus, dude, I'm washing my hands of this whole thing. But do I believe that he was railroaded still? Yeah. Do I believe, do I know that law enforcement, because there was a recording of it happening. Did an off-duty cop try to intercept a SANE exam from taking place by lying to another police department in another county? Yeah, because I played that recording. Many times I played it.
He's never gonna. His name is now synonymous with sex, with pedophilia, and that's just not fair. I am number one. Will stand up and fight for people whom I believe have been falsely accused. If I believed in any way that her recountings of what happened to them were false, I would say so. I'm never afraid to say so. I'm not.
No, what you're doing is you're going just the opposition. You see a mob mentality and everybody's, dude, there's a reason. There's a reason for this particular mob mentality, because people have seen evidence. They know she's lying. And people have seen the evidence that proves that she's lying. That's not just a mob mentality that people are just, oh, well, it's the popular thing to think, so that's the way I'm going to go. That's not what's going on here. Oh, shit. Y'all know Cherry's pissed. When Cherry, like, writes without hashtags, oh, man, she's mad.
Not
That's
saying
good.
I'm not saying that I believe her simply because she's a woman or simply because she's claiming abuse. I'm saying I believe her because the substance of her claims matches the evidence.
There is no evidence. Why do you keep saying
Yeah,
that?
but what would you think about a woman that would shit on her
Everything else
man's
is
bed?
subjective. Everything else is subjective, right? All of it. Her body language, her tears, her non-tears, or this or that. All of that is subjective. See, I was trained, I worked, and the haters will get mad if I don't say it correctly. I was an occupational therapy assistant for 25 years. I worked with a wide range of people. I worked with schizophrenics, I worked with elderly people, I worked with children, I worked with teenagers, I worked with all age groups, drug addicts. I worked with all manner of people. And I was trained in how to write, when even in nursing too, when you work with the public like that, and people that are sick and dying and addicted, and you're hands on treating them in private healthcare settings, you have to learn to take very copious notes. And when you take your notes regarding your interactions with your patients, and it's even more important so for a therapist, because we have verbal interaction while we're doing physical therapy with them, we have to write subjective. They're called a SOAP note. You have to write a subjective and an objective part of your note. The subjective is obviously what your impression is, what you see, what you think. The objective is all the rest that is evidential, that is factual, and that can't be denied. And I'm trained in doing that. I think a lot of people cannot. They can't do that. They are so subjectively against her and programmed, conditioned now after 2 years of disinformation.
Evidence, Kay. Evidence. Evidence that you haven't seen yet because you don't actually follow this case. You think you're an expert on body language. You think you're an expert on people, but you're not. You're going just based on this bullshit that's going on in that courtroom, but you don't know you don't even know a fraction of what Johnny Depp's attorneys are going to present as evidence when they cross-examine her. That is going to happen. That is what everybody's waiting for. That's the big show. That's what everybody, dude, the popcorn, you know what I mean? Everybody's going to be like this. Because we know this evidence. We know this evidence exists because we've seen this evidence. Because we actually followed this case. You haven't followed shit. You haven't followed evidence. Anything.
information on social media that she's a liar, that they're going into
She is
this
a
thinking
liar.
she's lying, and they're just skipping over all the substance. They're skipping
Yeah,
over
no, yeah, no.
Now
Yeah,
notice,
and there's definitely a lot of substance.
Notice Kay, at no point, like, she has said so many times. She has said so many times that her testimony is consistent with the evidence, but she hasn't even brought up one example of this evidence. Amber hasn't shown any evidence. Her attorneys haven't shown any evidence. Nothing substantial at all. They haven't produced any witnesses that supposedly were there. Where's the woman that Johnny Depp assaulted and grabbed her wrist and threatened to break it with how many pounds of pressure it takes? Like, where is that woman? Why haven't they produced her? Where are all these witnesses that they produced? Where are the witnesses in the car where Johnny Depp was holding a little dog out the window? Where are all these witnesses? None of these witnesses have there are none. Like, if you don't produce them in court, the shit didn't happen. It didn't exist. These people don't exist if you don't produce them in court. Not even a name. She didn't even name a name. She was just like, this person. This person this and this person that. But where's the evidence, right? But here's Kay talking about the evidence is consistent with her testimony. Come on, people. Come on. Like, no, there is no evidence. Like, Kay, why haven't you brought up examples of this evidence? Like, she would have never let me on her panel if I would have tried to go over there. The only reason I didn't is because I don't feel confident enough to know all the facts. Like, if I'm going to get up there and debate somebody about a case, I better know it front to back. And I only know a little bit just from what I've seen from these other channels that have been covering this for the past year and a half.
Again, it's like I'm saying, it's just a very, very interesting scenario because I
agree.
understand that Johnny Depp is beloved, but I don't see what makes him more beloved and more trustworthy than any other male celebrity, because most male celebrities wind up in a situation where if a woman accuses them of anything before facts are even presented, it's like, well, we really used to love his movies, but fuck him now. Just at the drop of the dime of the fact
That's
that a woman
totally
said something
true
about anything. And that definitely happens. And usually the public has made up their mind upon accusation, and certainly a lot of women and even certainly a lot of men have at that moment been prepared to like throw away the DVDs of their favorite male celebrity simply based upon accusation. So I just think,
yeah, see, I'm not one of those people. I've talked about this before. I'm not one of those people. I'll still watch a Kevin Spacey movie and enjoy it, even though I know Kevin Spacey's a shitbag. I'll still watch The Cosby Show and enjoy it, even though I know Bill Cosby's a shitbag. I could separate the art from the artist. I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't have a problem with that. I can separate the art from the artist. You know, I mean, I'm not looking at Cliff Huxtable and thinking that he's a rapist. You know what I mean? Now, when I see Bill Cosby walking down court steps, I'm like, ugh, that dirty old motherfucker. But not Cliff Huxtable. Cliff Huxtable is a pure, you know, wholesome dad and husband. You know, I could separate these things. You know, I'm not gonna like all of a sudden why would I not think that Louis C.K.'s comedy's funny anymore? All of a sudden he's not funny because he can't help but jerk off in front of people. Like, I mean, all of a sudden he's just not funny anymore. He doesn't have a talent for comedy anymore. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Like, if it turned out to be like just solid evidence that Michael Jackson actually touched kids inappropriately, I'm supposed to stop liking Thriller now? All of a sudden I'm supposed to not want to move whenever I hear "Wanna Be Starting Something"? Like, That's not, no, dude. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. One thing has nothing to do with the other.
Oh, I don't think people buy her bullshit. And then there's the shit. There's the shit on the bed thing, which makes it even more bizarre. We never hear stories like this. That's
I know,
super
but
bizarre.
she didn't
That's
do that.
just-
Again, the evidence indicates he caused that fecal matter to be there. He'd done it.
Wait, what? What? That he caused Tom Cruise. Yeah, Tom Cruise does suck. I like Tom Cruise movies. But the way that he went off on that one dude talking about Brooke Shields, I was like, dude, you gotta calm down, bro. You gotta relax. Dude, not me, man. Katie May, not me, bro. Like Bill Cosby, dude. Picture pages coming. I love that shit. I loved it. Dude, when I would stay home sick from school and that shit would come on, I would be like, this is fucking awesome. And then later in the afternoon, some Fat Albert would take place. Tom Cruise is a hobbit twat. Yo, that was messed up though. When he's walking down those court steps and then they like acquitted him that first time or whatever before like the new victims came forward. And he goes, hey, hey, hey. I was like, ah, dude, you're a fucking piece of shit. What a fucking asshole. I was like, you'll be back. Sure enough, he was. They let him go now. Like, now Bill Cosby's free. But I mean, he's old, probably impotent, blind. You know, like I mean, he's not causing anybody trouble. Like he's a miserable old blind fuck now. You know, should he be in jail? I think so, but you know, I'm not worried about him offending again. You know what I mean? Like he's kind of useless.
It before. He'd
Oh
had
my
his
God.
assistant poop outside her room. There's text message proof of it. He text messaged his assistant, Stephen Duders, and said, leave a dookie outside so that when she comes out of her bedroom in the morning, she steps in it. So, and he calls himself the Mad Shatter, and he makes poop jokes all the time. So who's more?
I mean, poop jokes are funny. By the way, I'm an RN. It's completely illegal for her to have written any patient's assessment or plan. Only a doctor, an RN, midwife, PA is allowed to do that. That's fascinating. Thank you, Jersey girl. I appreciate that. Wow. Okay. Good to know.
Likely to be responsible for the fecal matter on the bed, him or her? Why would
Mad
she poop in
Shatter.
her own bed? It was her bed. That was her penthouse.
She's
and her
the-
bed. He was living in the suite.
She's the only one that slept in it, though, after the fact. Explain that. She's the only one that slept in that bed after that. Like, and, you know, whoever else she was fucking. Like, Johnny was like, nope. I can see him in like total like Hunter Thompson character. Sitting there with good God, what is that, man? That's clearly shit of the humankind. Good Lord. Oh my God, Johnny.
Mansion.
Killing me,
He wasn't
bro.
even living there. Why would she poop in her own bed for the maid to find? The maid would go in the morning to the Sweetser mansion and over. These people live lives we can't even begin to imagine. It's like, you know how great it is when you live in a hotel, you got someone cleaning up after you every day. This is how they live every flipping day. They have people cleaning up after them. Why would she leave a dookie in her own bed for the maid to find? What sense does that even make?
That's the point.
Well, I can't get into all that.
That's the point.
It
doesn't make sense. It makes sense that she would. It makes sense that she's a sick, twisted fuck who would fucking shit in the bed for him to find.
like I actually have a channel called Savo Central, and I kind of hail from some sort of like the red pill pro male manosphere side of YouTube. But the reason I'm so lenient on this subject is because there's
Get out of
such huge
town.
celebrities. And my personal opinion about
pro male, he says. Pro male. Okay. Yeah. He's Kay loves this guy. I promise you that. Kay loves this guy.
celebrities is just that they live in another realm. And it's just very, very difficult for me to put anything past, especially the more bizarre celebrities. You know, like maybe if it was a traditionally masculine cat like Sylvester Stallone or something, I'd have a different opinion than the ever so bizarre, ever so interesting in the way he moves, kind of Johnny Depp, you know?
Right.
But I definitely think I'll wrap it up with this because I don't want to take up your whole night. I thank you for taking my
you're
call.
fine. This is great. I'm sure the audience is loving this. I very rarely get men.
If you guys want to come over, it's Savo Savo Central.
Yep, you guys head on over to his channel. You're in the Red Pill Society. Have you been following Gonzalo Lira, Coach Red Pill?
Oh yeah, it looks like he's alive.
Yeah, he's alive. But have you been following his Ukraine-Russia coverage?
I have. I'm not that politically educated to be able to fully understand everything that he's getting into, but I know it's risky as hell of him being.
Neither is Kay, dude. Don't worry about it. All right. So this is what is this article? When you broke up. Now I don't know what Foxella is. I don't know how I don't know how credible of a news source this is. But it says when you broke up with him for a day or two, though, it didn't take you long to find your way into my trailer naked, though, did it? The worst person of the day award goes to this B-list, mostly movie actress who is all about being famous no matter who she has to sleep with. Right now, she kind of hit the jackpot with that and is not shy about dropping his name when things don't go her way. Last night, she was at the after party for her latest movie and was talking to her co-star who used to be a really big shot and is having a comeback here. At one point, our actress was talking about her boyfriend, and the actor said, when you broke up with him for a day or two, though, it didn't take long for you to find your way to my trailer naked, though, did it? Right in front of 10 people, he said this. The actor in question is married. B-list actress Amber Heard, boyfriend Johnny Depp, co-star Kevin Costner, and the movie 3 Days to Kill. Yeah. Okay. Okie dokie. I mean, dude, if Kevin Costner, I mean, I don't know. Like, why would Kevin Costner just throw that shit out there like that if it wasn't true? You know what I mean?
Being over there, but yes, it looks like he is alive, but unfortunately, Kevin Samuels is actually dead.
What?
Yeah, Kevin Samuels passed away yesterday.
How? What happened?
He had a heart attack.
Who's Kevin Samuels?
Kidding me?
Yeah, and the crazy thing about it is, with the way Twitter kills people, you know, once in a blue with a fake death hoax, the whole day yesterday was made up of allegedly Kevin Samuels has passed away, and everybody thought it was a hoax. But I work with people that work with him personally. So the first thing I did was get on the phone and call people and say, text him, hit his line, and nobody could get a hold of him until the evening.
It says he's a YouTuber.
It said that, yeah, it's true. He passed away.
Where was he at?
I believe he was in Atlanta, and he was with a bad bitch. He died with a bad bitch, as he should.
All right. Have you been following Patrick Lancaster? His coverage on the Patrick Lancaster, he's right there.
All right, shut up. I don't care about anything that you're saying right now. All right, guys. We're at 2 hours. I think I'm going to end it here. Find a movie to watch. I really appreciate all you guys being here. And I had a really good time with you guys tonight. So there's a couple of things that I'm going to be covering. We have good stuff coming up soon, guys. I have, like I said, after the cross starts, now I may not cover it live. I probably won't be able to cover it live, but I will go over that stuff with this special guest on a replay and we'll do that here. And yeah, we're still gonna do the wipey boy and the battery Betty stuff. That's always fun. And I'm going to talk about this Casey and Vicky White case. They are not married. It's just coincidence that they have the same last name. But yeah, I'm going to be covering that and going over that because that is crazy. I'm really not much of a UFC fan. No. Whenever there's like a really high profile fight, I'm interested in that and I'll watch it. But, I don't really follow all the fighters. And yes, cheers to all of you enjoying Mega Pints tonight. Anyways, what's wrong, Panda Lady? Anyways, guys, I love you. And we will do this again very soon, my friends.